opening face-off against the Triple Crown. So, yeah, nothing really exciting happening with the opening face-off, but, you know, in tradition, we'll just show the opening face-off. Ernest tries to chip it through Ang, but couldn't quite do it. Something we might want to try to consider in the future, and let's just rewind this a little bit, is that, you know, we're opening shift. Gosh darn, the streaming services are slow. But what we might want to consider, especially when these D are pretty aggressive, is actually send it down in the cross corner and then let your weak side winger come in and chase in after it, and really just kind of get the ball rolling and tiring them out. You know, something maybe worth considering, but otherwise I think this opening face-off shift is nothing too exciting to show. Alright, now we got a little bit of excitement. Actually, let's rewind this back a little bit. So positioning wise, so Jamie is definitely on the maybe too aggressive, as in too far away from the net as a left D. So this is just a slight positioning concern. So I mean, she is staying kind of close to the player, but again, the key focus is trying to stay in between the puck carrier and the net, so somewhere in this zone. So right now she's over here, needs to get over there. And let us see. Now again, this is only her second time playing, so it's going to be a little bit of growing pains, obviously. And then here you go. We see Rayhan, our center, Jamie is our lefty. Relatively new positions to them, but you can always treat this as 3 defense men. You're playing 3D, and really the key focus is just trying to find all the players that are going to be threats. So these are the 2 that are closest to the net, and just kind of stay between them and the net, and then just try to kind of make life a little bit difficult for them, and that will do most of the defending work. And after that, you can learn more of the nuances, but that's really going to be the thing. So it's just some slight positioning mistakes, and but Rayhan kind of gets there in time to stop any shenanigans, and so we are okay for the time being. This was a slick banana peel. Whee! Got the whole splits going on too. Alright, surprisingly nothing too noteworthy happening so far. I mean, probably ill-advised that we had a change when the puck's in our zone, but nevertheless, and just kind of rushing it. Definitely Kathy could have waited a little bit while we're getting the center back into the play. And so because we're rushing it, it just ends up being a turnover. It's not a big deal. But another thing I wanted to bring up, more so on the attack coming up shortly, maybe I can do it a little bit fast. No, we're good here. Is notice how, I think this is more of a small thing for Fee. She goes there and she's really focused on the puck carrier and not really focused on who's actually, like, what are the true passing threats. And so that's part of it, is obviously shoulder checking, and so she has her stick down focused on that, but really, like, the lane way that she's blocking is to nobody. And then so it's just kind of a small thing. We really want to focus on who's that, like, where is that puck really going to go there, and then that way it makes things a lot easier on the decision making of where you need to put your stick to block the pass to begin with. And it's not for the sake of just, is that puck going to come through the crease, so I'll just put my stick down. So I think this one might have been a little bit of a sketchy play right here. So Alex stops up, that's fine, he's got pressure on him, and then Ray does a good job getting it behind on the corner right here. And Alex is getting pressured, and why I say this is sketchy is because you got pressure here, there's another player here, and he decides to throw it to the middle, hits a skate of the other opponent, and ends up being a turnover. But when you're getting so much pressure on the boards, and and Alex is typically pretty good along the boards. You could always reverse it back like yourself or pass it down low. And that relatively is going to be way safer because, like, let's say it is turned over. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people and maybe just one person deep, versus throwing it in the middle and then possibly, you know, if these players are any faster and not necessarily red tape, being sprung for breakaways. So, like, you know, varying levels of risks and sketchiness. Alright, so Dave's going in on the attack, cuts to the middle, gets eventually stopped, but kind of gets a shot towards the net. Now, Jeff, here's something where Carrion tried to pass it to Ernest, and this might be an instance of just being too tight to the net, versus if Ernest was maybe spaced up a little bit, he might have had a better chance to work with, and Jeff was definitely out of the picture at this point. But otherwise, it was a good chance right there. Formation's good. And then, oh, 5-hole Dave strikes again. I did want to point out, let's see, right here, Jamie, like, she's doing a decent job right there, and it goes and tries to pressure the puck there, and I think that as a result of that play, she doesn't get the assist, however, certainly contributes to Dave getting that goal. And McCant wants to say hello as well. I don't know if you can hear him. So positionally, like, let's kind of work back on the kind of the pressure. This is definitely a mistake on Ernest's part, coming off of those boards, and then Carrion should be able to put pressure on them as to keep that standard kind of forecheck. And then Rayhan is doing a good job kind of spacing off of that. Really, his focus is that puck coming out through the middle. So positionally, everyone's doing a pretty decent job. And then, like, obviously this, like, he wasn't able to get a chance, but puts enough pressure. Like, now he's able to chase down this player, and Jamie's going to be able to squeeze down. So, like, a lot of contributing factors results in this goal. Obviously, no assists, but definitely a team effort on that one. Alright, after Dave scored, we have the puck back. Pretty sketchy to do a backhand pass across the crease, but, you know, I won't complain. It was okay. I guess one of the things I do want to be concerned about is after Kathy passed it, she dips away and looking away. And I think we just got to be ready for a potential pass back, and just kind of maybe just watch how we pivot. In any case, the pass couldn't quite get clean, and then so we got forecheck pressure. Still able to get it out, but I don't know, make a sketch for sure. Oh, and a turnover, how unfortunate. And what I didn't realize was after that turnover, it resulted in a goal. That sucks. So let's break it down some more. So the first kind of, I mean, that one's still fine. I mean, I'd say it's arguably sketchy just because we have so much back pressure on you. So if you screw that up, that's already kind of coming straight in towards the net. And then let's continue. Unfortunately, pass, I mean, it was on the tape. She just didn't quite handle it and tried to force it up the ice. I guess it worked out, got to the winger. At this point, Rayhan, you should be coming out pretty quickly to help support, and it should have been fine. I mean, even the turnover in the neutral zone should have been fine. I guess Kathy may have been too focused on this player with the puck, but we got threats coming in down the other direction, and so caught on the pivot, couldn't quite get the reach, and then unfortunately short side goal. Pretty good snipe, I think, low blocker. So we are just like that, back tied 1-1 game. Well, we may have uncovered the secret as to why Jess's stats at center are pretty solid. Even though with that sketchy pass by Dave, she has the dog in her, absolutely shuts down the offensive threats from 2 players, settles 3 forecheckers, and we're still able to make it out alive. Pretty impressive. So here's a slight, probably a calibration issue. Maybe not an issue. I did tell Jamie to try to be as aggressive as she dares to start with, and then we dial it back. So right here, most of the players are right here, and the puck is there. So just going for the maximum aggression, trying to get that puck. Obviously that doesn't quite work out, and then they are beating her on the foot race. Now there's actually a lot of steps we can take from this that are good, and it's just going to be a little bit of dialing back. It's just going to be fine-tuning for defense. So the good thing is, notice how, boom, these are basically where all this is the line of where all the Triple Crown players are. So the aspect of actually going up on the attack is a good thing. We actually do want to gap up. Gapping up just means we're just closing up this spacing between the players as tight as we can. And so from here, once that puck is about loose, she's going straight at it, but we may want to consider now is the time to adjust and get ready for possible surfing. So here it is. They're going to start skating towards it, and Jamie can want to turn with it rather than going straight. But you can see it's actually very good in that she's close to the action, versus Dave. His gap is a little bit bigger, and that means he's going to be deep in the zone. We would have probably preferred him to be a bit more aggressive. So yeah, you can see like Jamie's close. It's actually very close, and in an area where she's going to be able to put pressure, but it's just the fine tuning where perhaps she doesn't go quite so far on the attack, and then that way she'll be in a slightly better position. But you know, actually that clip right there, a lot of good things we can take from that. And like I said, for her it's just going to be a little bit of a fine tuning right now. Right now it's probably just a little bit too aggressive, but it's actually very, very close to where we want it to be. So here's a fun clip. I think we all know Fee is definitely more on the offensive side when she plays D, bringing the puck in, and now inherently is not a problem, though it is a little funny. I think right here is great. Good, the pass, the puck is bouncing back, she's sticking with it, that's perfectly fine, and sticking it here also perfectly fine. Passing up to Kathy. Once that pass comes, she should definitely start go and switch, and then let that pass trickle down for Ernest and the other forwards to start hammering in on. Instead, I guess they're still hustling together, so it ends up being a little bit awkward with them being there. And then Lord knows why, goodness, why is our forwards running away from the zone? I actually would be curious about that, and therefore that turnover is probably more so on Ernest. He was the forward that's supposed to be down there. So maybe could have kept possession rather than, oh my gosh, that is sketch. Instead of having to play defense now. So yeah, that's unfortunate. And pretty decent shot on net, but the battle up front is pretty good. Let's see, everyone, Kathy's on her player, very good. Fion's there, very good as well. I think defensively that was fine, but completely avoidable. This is the time when Ernest almost took off Jeff's head. I actually want to see that one more time. So he's taking it in, loads up, fires from just underneath the face-off dot, misses it. high, and it's so powerful it rings all the way back to our zone. Alright, so puck's here, Rayhan's got it, pressure, and he bounces it behind the net. Very good. Very good. The safe play. The only thing is, he's the center. So after he does that, I would have expected him to swoop in almost exactly like how this Triple Crown player is doing it. So let's do a little rewind. So just swooping. And then rather than he coming across, Rayhan, you would just be coming up the ice like this. And then where Rayhan is, we would want to see Jamie there. So let's continue. Obviously a little awkward, not a lot of passing options for Dave to go to. And he's just absolutely surrounded by everyone. And unfortunately that was a turnover, but he's able to gather it back. And we are okay. So this was a mistake. I thought for sure that was Alex. Turns out it wasn't. And it was a turnover. What happened? He just stopped skating. Looking at Alex, and then what is this? What is this? Jamie's faster than you, Alex. We're about to see some fun action right around here, where Carrie-Ann gets absolutely obliterated. Oh, boom. Now, I would say this is probably going to be more on Carrie-Ann than 50. So 50 is looking at the puck all the way around and expecting the ring around. And Carrie-Ann is trying to close it off and maybe intercept it, but as he's turning around, she's going to get bonked. Now, this is a big size difference. Obviously, that is the case. But one of the things I would actually recommend for her is, rather than intercepting at the point of him receiving the puck, is actually you hold up, you almost stop up right about here, and when he gets it and turns around, that's when you poke it off of him. And then that's basically going to put you at a risk to not get obliterated like that. So it's going to be a bit of a timing and slight gapping. You just kind of space yourself away so that when they turn around, you just boop, poke check, and then you're able to take the puck away. So here's a little example. So Jamie, our lefty, puck's over here with Dave. So we would actually want her all the way back around in this area, actually even off screen. So definitely she's in more of a winger mode at the moment, but you know, that is okay. And then again, here's the threat, so we would want her here, at least in between the net and the person that is attacking. So this play right here, we're all cheering on the bench. The forechecking pressure is not bad, so Carrie-Ann is directly onto the puck carrier, and then Janice is actually coming off to close off those boards, and Ray sitting in the middle, closing off anything that's going to come out through the middle. And so puck comes up the boards, Janice is there, keeps it in the zone. The puck battle is unfortunately you're missing a lot of it when the camera turned, but she kept it out there. So much presence and pressure caused that defenseman to lose it, and then boom, keeps the puck back in the zone again, and then puck somehow gets over in that corner, and Fee tries to get it, couldn't quite get in. Guess who's back on the case again? Forcing another turnover, but sadly for her, Alex lost it, and we have to go play defense now. Alright, so I can see where some of the problems occurred. So Alex should be on the left hand side, so, and when we play defense we should be filtering over to the other side. Now this could be as simple as Ernest just telling Alex, get over to your side rather than covering. Pretty simple, but I can see this is where some of the confusion happened throughout the game. Alex was fine during the first period. I don't know what happened in the second period that he got discombobulated for the moment there. Decided he wanted to go on the right wing. Alright, showcasing Fee right here. So Kathy, the puck went by her, she kind of missed it. Takes it behind the net, stops up, looks for the options. This guy's going this way, so she goes this way. These are just textbook basics right here. Open ice, and then passes it off. Oh, so disappointing there. I get the idea, but because there's all this open ice to work with for her, skate a little bit longer and wait for like the winger to catch up. So like, let's say you're gonna start skating and taking up this space and you're waiting for Ernest to start to come up, then you can dish it off rather than doing it on the turn, because you're already skating past them. So kind of wait for them to catch up with you first, and then I mean, it still kind of works out, but I think we missed out on opportunity to make it a little bit more smooth there. Alright, now here's an unfortunate set of events that leads to a goal against. So face-off loss, red tape, so can't touch him, comes in, and then shot from far away, and Cliff couldn't quite save it. He said it's got to do with Jeff's stick being way too light, and he thought he didn't have his stick with him. So it could be just affecting how quickly he moves his blocker. But defensively, let's kind of take a look. So we couldn't touch the red tape. He's skating in, and then Rayhan tries to stop him, and then the guy shoots it from the red line. It's pretty far distance. So I don't think it's anything as a mistake, and Cliff said I think it's just the equipment that affected him a little bit there. So we'll just call it equipment failure, even though it's not. All right, Fee's coming in on the attack. Drop passes to Carrie Ann. She loads up, takes a shot, and absolutely gets hip checked, obliterated by Cardoza. Pretty sure that's Cardoza. And she goes flying. Oh no, fanned on it. Let's see what shenanigans happens over here. Ray has the puck, gets stripped of it from Eng, gets dipsy doodled, and they send the puck out. So that is okay. Let's actually, I did want to talk about that forechecking pressure. Generally speaking, I am a fan of forcing them down the boards. So Ray takes the shorter path, right? Trying to cut him off this direction, and I think the goal really is trying to force them along a path. If they want to go through the middle, then you're feeding them to the Sharks with two. So naturally you kind of want to funnel them towards behind the net and naturally across to the other side, and then you just follow them. And then your supporting partners will close off the wall and the middle as well. It's just going to be kind of setting up the trap that way. Whereas if you go for the shortest path, just like that, you kind of lose that pressure that you're putting on them. So you basically open the door. So pretty long sequence coming up that does lead to a goal, but there's actually a lot of good things I wanted to think. Some good, some bad. Some good, some bad. So the good, let's do a little rewind, is notice the gapping, boom, easy, ripe for the Pickens interception, but Fee notices, boom, a lot of pressure around her. So what's an easy way to do that? Well, as long as your D partner's behind you, can always go for a reset. So that's what we do. We send it back. Excellent. So then we probably want her to hustle up a little bit to get on the opposite side to help out Kathy, but Kathy really handcuffs herself by skating up the ice directly into pressure. We don't want to see that. As long as you see that, we should probably go turn back around, but because she's on that pathway, there's a bit of a panic pass and then launches it up the boards. Hard to get, and so it's a turnover and they're able to come into the zone. Again, we could probably play it harder, but we don't want to because there's a person here, a person there, and then we force them to come crashing into their own teammates. Probably not. So we let them come in, and that's not a problem. So puck's being kept around. Pass, pressure. Very good. And then, yeah, our 3D essentially are doing a pretty good job, but as you can see, Steve is back there, so we can't just forget all about him. Make sure that he doesn't get any free pucks, but otherwise, everyone is in pretty good defensive position. We could say that, no, it's probably on me, but, you know, like I said, Steve was back there, so we didn't. What's the high priority defensive target? It's usually going to be the ones that's closest to the net. So at that time, we needed to take care of those highest threats, and we'll just accept the little bit lateness there. Good pressure immediately on the corner, and then Rayhan is sticking with the. Everyone's actually on their player, so very good. Excellent defensive pressure, and then an unforced error coming out in the zone for a free interception, and so we take it down the zone. Now here's the best part, the biggest mistake of them all. Jeff is like, well, you know what, I don't want to be in the net, and so why don't you just shoot it in there? And so we get a free goal, 2-2 tie. We had a fun chat because Jeff thought he had it completely covered, but in reality, nothing was covered, so we will take it. Alright, so something happened here, a little bit of a crash, not sure. Okay, I see. So Jess is chasing down the player. He does get the foot race, gets a shot off, and then, you know, everyone's losing their balance, and poor Cliff's got Jess on top of him. 35 seconds left. Let's see what. Oh my god. Well, another Alex example of can't turn right. Decides to pass straight through the pizza zone for a turnover. 30 seconds left. What fun do we have coming up? Big pass. 17 seconds left. Loading up for shot. That's a pretty good shot. Jamie is on it, pushes the puck out, but Alex decides to bring it back into the zone and can't turn right. Passes it through the pizza zone again, and the period is over. So Kathy and Fee doing actually a pretty good job where she sees right here. Not a lot of good passing options right here, and Carrie-Ann's probably a little bit far, but not necessarily a bad thing as long as she gets into an area where there's a nice lane. So there is. Kathy just needs to be able to see it. But if she decides not to, right? The person with the puck is always going to be the conductor, and we base our movement off of that. She says, I don't see anything I like there, so let's move it from the right side to the left side of the ice. Excellent D to D movement. So right here, if you can take a look, see what options she has. Not a lot of good passing options just from this freeze frame, so she says, you know what, let me just carry it into the zone, and Ray follows through with them. So excellent movement there. Now the building blocks right here are always going to be where the D partner is laterally. We want to be slightly behind usually. Now if the space allows, we can go up in front, but we'll call this the basic position. And so that's probably something we want to keep in mind of for any new D players as well. And just for fun, let's just kind of watch this attack going. I don't like that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we typically allow the weak side D, which is cut that ice in half where the puck is, to go in on attack, see what the movement is. And then this one's gonna be really gonna be the anchor. I do suggest them staying along the boards, but if things allow, like let's say Ray comes all the way up the ice, then we can open up that way. That's not a problem. What I don't like, oh my god, they both go for the attack. That's pretty sketch. But Kathy kind of identifies that pretty quickly, needs to go back, so I won't fault them too heavily for that. And then I think, what, Carrie-Anne has the puck behind the net? No, she did lose it briefly. And good forechecking pressure there by Ray, but somehow the puck gets all the way over there. Shot on net. Another good thing to identify is she's staying on with 22. So coverage is actually pretty good with this D pairing. Not bad at all. Alright, well, something I noticed with Ray still has, I almost call it the beginner pressure. So what I mean by that, obviously Ray has all this fancy skating, but he still falls under where you feel pressure, he starts to panic. So he has a good skater with him, he does a hard stop, he does a hard stop, and then just hucks it to the other side of the ice where nobody is, instead of just kind of being patient with the puck. So a little bit of panic passing going on from there. I actually did want to bring up this clip. So pretty good opportunity right here for Kathy. Gets the puck, loads up, gets a shot. Now she did talk about that there's a bit of a struggle for her to get a power from distance. In this case, it's actually not too much distance, and she might be just too focused on getting the puck off, even though she has quite a bit of space. Now, another thing to combat this problem is oftentimes you actually do not need a lot of force. It doesn't need to be a rocket. It can be a nice little floater. But what becomes tricky and how to really kind of take advantage of it is if you move, you're essentially the key is you're trying to hunt for little screens, whether it's kind of like using this person as a screen, this person moving a little bit this way, moving a little bit that way, just finding a little different angle. And if it's like, even if it's a nice slow little floater, it doesn't have to be huge rocket bombs. You're not trying to overpower, like from that distance, even like from anywhere here to here, even here to here, like a goalie is probably going to be able to react it, given that they can see it. So if you have any way to just change the angle a little bit, right? If Kathy is able to eat to the middle a little bit, just change a little bit of angle, maybe shoot through this guy's legs, stuff like that. You'll buy that little extra advantage where you don't need an absolute bomb of a shot to make it a dangerous chance. Ray, not a very good advertisement for Escape Scribe when you keep falling like this all the time. Alright, so we have a few sequences here, a little scary, a little whatever, but right here, again, I think too aggressive on Jamie's part, so a little bit of dialing back. And then once we go on the reset where we have the D, we just want her also, like we said, being able to be passed across. And otherwise, that's not really where the excitement happens. The excitement happens a little bit later. So turnover by Alex. You know, never a bad idea to just dump it in or reset if you're not sure. But in any case, Dave's a little bit behind, and then there's 3 people. Hits the cross. Well, it was a couple times. He just misses it wide. Pretty hard shot. Gathers up that rebound that bounced off. Hits the crossbar. Crazy stuff. But we are able to survive it for just a little bit long. Oh, that is the most offside thing ever. Again, like we said, it's never a bad idea to just dump it, cross corner dump, ring around, and give it to Carrie Ann. A lot of options there. They're both on you. Why not dump it? So, unfortunate, and we did get a little lucky there. Well, want to showcase this. Rand's been pretty solid with his face-offs, winning them, majority of them, to be honest. And as much as he has said he didn't really like center, but to be fair to him, he's only played it twice, so, well, this is his second time. So maybe it's something he will enjoy over time with more games, but his face-offs are pretty good. And we'll watch this guy skating in fancily, absolutely skating circles around us. Passes it to, oh, what a pass! Oh my gosh, that would have been a sick assist. And defensively, what was the mistake really there? I guess it's just maybe, I wouldn't say Rayhan's even puck watching. Like he identified a threat. It's just that the trailer is really, like, probably would have been his focus if he was focused on this player. I mean, yeah, it's not really a big concern. It just snuck through. It was a good pass, and like the defensive priorities were, like, they made sense. So, all right, we're about to see some funny shenanigans right here on the breakout. Kathy decides to take it into the zone. Oh, a little inside out. Much better than she has done in the past. So that's good. Buys her the space. Now, unfortunately, oh gosh. So she's in, and then Fee's pretty aggressive as well, but this is the pinnacle of Greenhorn's defense right here. One guy skating in, a school of fish chasing after him, and he decides to curl back around, passes it into the corner. He definitely could have. Oh gosh. Okay, well, you know, things got, it looked good, then it turned really ugly, then it looked good, then it turned really ugly again. It turned ugly again, turned good. Will it turn ugly again? I mean, that's a turnover, so oh, but it looked good because this lady's way offside. Well, I'm lost for words. Alright, we're about to watch something. So Jess is coming in, and then Alex decides to just crash into her. What is going on? Some goofy stuff happening. And then here's where I thought Jess was going to drive the net, because we got the puck into the slot. And so we should probably expect puck's going to be coming in. And I think she may have had an opportunity to shoot the puck right there on the rebound, but unfortunately couldn't, was a little far away for that chance. All right, we're about to see the magic of Tuan. Face off win or loss, but still able to get it back. Dangle, 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 makes Janice, falls on her booty and rips it on the far side, but just either missed the net or made a save. Couldn't quite tell on the video, but definitely got the dangles going on. Alright, so shot misses the net wide. Everyone's chasing the puck to the point. Fired it down low, and luckily Fee is there to make life difficult out in front of the net. That possibly could have been a goal, possibly a game winner, but not today. And so we got about a minute left in this game. Nothing else is too exciting. Well, Rayhan putting a little bit of pressure on right there, but yeah, he had a couple chances to almost break the tie. But so far, pretty tight game, 2-2. And if you've enjoyed this review so far, please leave a like, leave a comment, share it, subscribe. And otherwise, enjoy the show. 35 seconds left. A little back and forth going on right now. And knocked over on the offside there. And so we have 30 seconds left. And keep an eye out on number 44, because he didn't shoot the entire game, as you saw the one where he had the breakaway and the school of fish. But almost scores right there. No one expected that shot. Luckily, Cliff was not snoozing today. And the game is still remain as a tie. And I think right here, Jess tries to go on the attack, but we have run out of time. And the game ends on a 2-2 tie. And that concludes the game review with the Triple Crown. See you next time.